episode 19.1? Is someone making changes? What? Hi there! Welcome to episode 19.1 of Yarns and Yarns. I will explain that in a minute. My name is Shay McIntosh Ford. I live in Tulsa with my husband, my 2 boys, and our puppy. It's been too long, and I'm trying to fix that, and I think I might be able to. It takes a lot for me to, at the end of 2 weeks, what did I do? How do I want to organize all of this, get it all back out and present it to you, right? And then I gotta put it all away. It's like, and then I gotta edit everything. And because I use a lot of so ands, but and I'm always editing them out. I am not as cool as some of these other vloggers, knitting people who never use they just record. And it sounds great, and they put it out there. I'm not that awesome. I'm gonna do this in vlog style from now on, including, and if you happen to watch my chronic illness journey, I did that a little bit of a vlog style. I've been, taking snippets throughout the day, and I think that might work better. We're gonna go with it. The other thing is I am separating my information. Not every knitter is a reader, although most of us seem to be, but definitely not every reader is a knitter. I am dedicating my career now to writing full-time. I definitely can't pick up harp gigs. I don't have the body strength for that anymore. I feel like I need a separate bookish thing, but I still like the title Yarns and Yarns. My life revolves around strings, whether that's harp strings, yarn strings, story strings. I'm going to be separating them into point 1 and point 2. So today is point 1. It's all about knitting. Hopefully on Friday I will have a point 2 if I can organize everything. If not, that'll be next week, and then I'll start the vlogs. So that way I can just take quick snippets, and when I get a chance to edit them, I'll do that, so I'm not sitting down for a full 2 or 3 hours of cutting out all my ums. For this episode, we are just going to start with whips. No, we're going to start with FOs, move on to a few whips, get all of the stuff out of the way that I've built up over the last 2 months, because that was the last time I uploaded. After that, I'm just going to do little snippets and gather them. And you may notice, obviously, I'm sure you do, I am hatless today. I recently got a pixie cut. I used to think that the pixie cut would make the sparse spots in my hair worse because it would stick up and you'd be able to see more of the bare spots, but it actually covers them better. I think because it's just fluffier because the hair's lighter. I've been going a few days without hats, but I still love my hats and I'm still gonna wear them. My first FO. Finally got these done. I mean, they will be comfortable because the other one in this brand is very comfortable, but I just did not enjoy knitting them. I'm sorry, but I love the colors. I love the green and the yellow, and that's the whole reason I picked out the yarn. But there's just a lot of problems with this yarn. It was not, like I said in the last episode, just not a lot of fun to work with. And then at the very end here, there was a knot, and it moved straight from green to yellow. So I didn't even get the fade in the toe. So yeah, I'm not gonna do this yarn again. And this is how much I have left over. I know it looks like a full skein, but it's obviously not. But the yarn is Queensland Collection Perth. It's Australian wool. The colorway, Golden Wattle. 80% superwash wool, 20% nylon. So they will be comfortable socks. I'm not gonna do these again. I might make DK weight socks out of this, held double with another color, because that worked really well with the other one. And of course, I'm going to use this for my cozy memory blanket. My other FO is not this or this, because you've already seen that before, but it is the mitts. I finally finished them. Well, I actually never started them. I was just kind of putting it off because I was working on hubby's sweater, but I needed to do some comfort knitting, and I'll explain that in a little while. I really love the Cat Lady yarns. So that's what this is. This is Cat Lady yarns, and the colorway is October Graffiti in the Perfect Sock base. It's an 80/20. I had a lot of this left over because I saved enough when I made this. Actually made it not so big because I wanted enough yarn for mitts. The pattern is not convertible mitts, and I didn't want to do the tops. I just wanted to do the mitts. I also did not make them as long as the pattern called for because I think I had enough yarn for that, but I really wanted to have yarn from my scrap blanket. So I actually already got a couple of this colorway in my scrap blanket because I started a new row. So I was able to do more comfort knitting with this yarn because it's a nice yarn to knit with. And I love the colors. Aren't they beautiful? I love the way it sort of wraps around along with micro striping at the same time. Pooling is really cool, and of course it pooled differently when I did the thumb gusset, and then up here it went back to the wrapping. It was just really cool. I love that. So I can imagine a pair of socks out of these would kind of do the same thing. Those are actually my only 2 FOs, not because I haven't been knitting, although there were some days where, because I did NaNoWriMo, which will be in point 2, I didn't do quite as much knitting. I worked a lot on hubby's sweater, so that's coming up. I did work on my Scrappy sock yarn blanket. Starting here are all the new squares that I put on. So these yellow markers are the ones I did before December. I decided for the month of December, since I don't have an advent calendar, and I always feel like I'm missing out when I don't have an advent calendar. I've never had an advent calendar, but I do feel like I'm missing out. So I decided to do a square a day for December. So these, is it 3? Yeah, 3 squares here were, I wanted it to be 25 squares long. So these 3 in December, so this is 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, completed my 25 squares. So those are, and this obviously is the Cat Lady yarn. I think this was another pair of fingerless mitts I did a few years ago. And this is, oh. Okay, so this is do you remember the dragon scale mitts that I made with the yarn that I had to cut up and tie into a magic knot ball? So it was all warm colors, and I cut out all the cool colors. That's what this is. Well, one of the knots came out here, and it was after I finished the square that I noticed that the knot had come out. So I had to kind of pull it tight, and now I'm afraid to snip those little ends there. Hopefully no other knots come out in this particular square. And then I finally got started on my 2nd row. So that was 1, 2, 3. This was 4, 5. So again, Cat Lady yarn, and 6. So this was the rainbow socks that I made at the beginning of the summer sock camp. That's actually what's nice about this sock yarn is that I could probably do another one pretty close, and it's not going to make a difference. You're not going to really know that it's the same yarn because it'll move into quite a different color. This one is a sock that I just finished the tube of today. The reason why I have 2 markers on here is because the next marker is for tomorrow's square, and it's holding my sliding stitch marker. So it's nice to see that I have 4 corners in my blankets now that are all tucked together. And I started doing the weave-in Steven method. There are no more ends. I didn't have to worry about that. The only problem is I learned the hard way that you only do the weave and steven on a certain side, because if you do it on the wrong side, you end up with the ends showing up on the right side. That is my Scrappy yarn blanket. It's coming along. For my next, should have been FO, I'm just going to show you the tube first. So I made my first pair of Shorty Socks, but I didn't put in the heel yet. And there's a reason when I show you the other one. This was the second one. I used my hand-dyed Bear Felici, the one I called Thunderstorms at Night. So this is the one that I dyed with the grape Kool-Aid. And for the cuffs and toes, I used the Lion brand grape soda, 75-25, finished with aloe vera, whatever that means. Oh, and the Bear Felici, I'm having trouble with the sun. It's blowing things out. Let's see if I could do. There we go, 75-25. I may have to pause my recording here in a little while because the sun is starting, I got a late start and the sun is starting to creep my way. All right, so this is the other sock. So I got two socks, right? And I went to cut in for the heel. It's been a while since I've done an afterthought heel. I'm not sure what I did wrong. I've got it started. Needle is in here, and I've been knitting. I'm finding that I love using double pointed needles when I knit socks, which is weird because I remember early on during these podcasts, I said that I hated double pointed needles. Turns out I love them. I thought it would be easier to cut into the sock for the heel with the Chalgu lace because it's smaller than the actual needle. So when I started pulling out the yarn for the cut, I pulled out a stitch. So I must have missed something somewhere where I must have picked up in the wrong row. I thought I double checked. I thought I triple checked it and that I was in the right rows, but it took a stitch out. So I don't know what to do. I don't know. I may just keep going and seeing to see if I can pick that stitch up somehow. I don't know what to do with this thing. I might have just ruined them, and so it'll just go in my Scrappy sock yarn blanket anyway. But this is how much I have left, so definitely not enough for a full sock, or even to, I don't know if I can fix this, because you start with the cuff and then you do the socks, so I don't know. I think I'm going to end up tearing this up. So I've got two Shorty Socks. I've never made Shorty Socks before, and I don't know, they may be squares. I don't know why Shorty Socks is a big deal. I mean, it's the same thing as a regular sock, it's just short. That's it. I just did like 6 rows for the leg and then started the foot. It's the same thing as a full length sock. I'm gonna do another afterthought heel anyway. Maybe this one will go straight, but this is the tube. There is a story behind this yarn. This is Knit Picks Felici, Red Rocks. So again, 75-25. Sorry for the bright sunshine. This is my Christmas present this year. This was the first Thanksgiving where I couldn't even have any dietary substitutions. Before it was always like gluten-free versions and then keto versions. So before I could have pumpkin pie and stuffing, cranberries, although not with keto. But this year, I couldn't have any of it. None of it, none. I couldn't even have turkey. I had a little bit of and I explained this in my colitis episode, I couldn't eat comfort food. I was doing comfort knitting instead. A lot of my whips are acrylic at the moment, and it's just not a comfortable fiber to work with. I had a little bit of a breakdown. I cried. My husband saw how miserable I was, so he's like, go ahead and order the the yarn that you want. So I ordered more Felici. I've never used the self-striping before. This is the first sock, and I do love it, the Red Rocks. I got it because of this kind of, not quite a purple color, like a purplish pink. Maybe this is purple pink. It's more pink than purple. But at first, when I was knitting, so I did a cuff down, I did 12 rows of 2x2 rib, and these are 64 stitches, which I forgot to say with my other sock, by the way. I got to this part the first time I was knitting it, and I'm like, oh, I'm at the repeat. Totally not understanding that this bright yellow is not this mustard yellow. So it goes, and then I thought, oh, now I'm at the repeat, and no, here I'm at the repeat. But yeah, I like it. It's a nice colorway. And it's funny because I, for some reason, didn't cake up the first skein. I just knit from the skein as it was. And of course I had a yarn barf, and I'm knitting, and I'm like, well, I'll just knit up the yarn barf and then I'll put it away and work on more tomorrow. As I'm putting it away, I'm realizing I'm putting away the skein and not the cake. And I'm like, why didn't I cake that up? Here's the other one, the second skein. So this is, oh, sorry. So this is the skein when it's caked up, because I know some people like to see the skeins caked. Very pretty. This is my big whip. I move back. This is hubby's Brioche Sweater, and this is where I was the last time you saw it. Little teacup. And so this is how much I got done since the last time you saw it. So quite a bit. I'm working on the bottom hem now. This is a 1x1 rib in the blue. And this sweater has had a few adventures. I keep it in this big knitting bag. This is my Loops knitting bag. I have a Loops store here. If you know what Knit Stars is, this is the store that started it. She actually lives here in Tulsa. I'm not a Knit Stars member yet. Hopefully I'll have enough money eventually for that. I had the bag sitting here next to my desk. My desk is in this kitchenette area of the house. We use this as sort of my little office space, and the fridge is right there, and the garbage can was right next to the fridge, and we had it up high so the dog wouldn't go digging through the garbage. One day while we were gone, she managed to hop on my desk and head over to the garbage and pull it down. And when we got home, I found the garbage can upside down on top of my knitting bag. So hubby's sweater ended up with a whole bunch of coffee grounds and eggshells all over his sweater. So I put it away for a while. I was so angry. The garbage can is now behind this curtain door, that one. I can't point backwards. The other adventure that I'd had, so I'm using ChiaoGoo's interchangeable needles, and I was sort of doing a kind of a magic loop. It was too big to do like a traditional magic loop, so I would knit it up to a certain, up to like 3 or 4 stitches, and then bend it and pull it out for more cording. And there was something about doing that, I guess, that weakened this cord. I think that maybe it was just that I had a defective cord, but whatever the case it was, this happened. When I was knitting, I realized it had come loose. I thought that the needle came out. This is the twist part. This is where you twist the needle into, so it's supposed to look like this end, right? And I thought that the needle had come out, but no, I broke the cable, and that is steel inside this cable. So either I happened to get a weak cable, which is probably the case because I'm not that strong anymore. The nice part is that I sent them pictures ChowGoo, and they replaced it for me for free. So that's why you see it on needles again. They replaced it, so I'm happy. But I dropped stitches, and I dropped it during the brioche section. This is where the drop stitches were, and it's really hard to tell on this side. I mean, you can kind of see it, but on the other side is where you can see it. Picking up stitches in brioche is difficult, and I just didn't quite get it because some stitches dropped down deeper than others, and it was just really difficult to pick up, so that was the best I could do. The yarn I'm using for the hubby sweater is Big Twist 100%. It's a renewal. Oh, the sun. Sorry. 100% recycled acrylic, so it's Big Twist renewal, and the colorway is dark blue, and the other one obviously is black. I'm going to stop buying acrylic. I didn't realize that acrylic was an oil product, so I'm going to start trying to only buy acrylic when I absolutely need to. Another whip. I don't feel like taking this out, but I like doing it. It's my cross stitch. I finished all of the blue and yellow sections, and all I have left is the red section along the bottom, and that's it. All of the rest of the red is done. So when I finish it, I will pull it out and show it to you, and then I would like you, and I'm getting tangled up in some wire here, I would like you to tell me if you think I should just leave this white part white or do it in red or yellow. I don't know. I can't make up my mind if I should leave it as is or do it in red and yellow. So be thinking about that. While I was waiting for the crazy intense sun to disappear behind the house next door, I started casting on the next sock. It's not going to match because it's going to have a burgundy cuff instead of the bright yellow. I haven't attached the loop yet because I have a puppy in my lap, and she just made herself quite comfortable. Sometimes starting the loop on double pointed needles is a little fiddly, so I might do that, but since the sun's not here, I think I'll just keep going. The other whip that I have is that black light, weird, just simple garter stitch wall hanging. It's the Red Heart yarns. It's for that thing for Charlie. I did work on that for a little bit. I would show it to you, but that would mean disturbing the puppy to pick it up off the floor. So it's in a little bag on the floor, and I'm not gonna move the puppy right now. So instead, I'm gonna show you my acquisitions. So along with this yarn, I got sock amount for this stripe. So this is the Summer Nights, and I got it for the lavender color in it because I love purple. So I got 2 of these and then 2 of these. I love this one. This is called Desert Rose. I think this is going to be my next one. I really wanted to do some yellows. That's why I did the red rocks first, but I'm looking forward to this one. It's really pretty. This is my comfort knitting. There she is. What'd you hear? You're gonna hear a lot of noise because I've got William reluctantly playing with her, hopefully to wear her out. It's really hard to get that kid off the video games. But I ended up putting together my first round. So I'm again using the weave-in Steven method. So my tail is coming out of here instead of the beginning of round, which is here. I forgot to show you, this was my sock bag. I show you this every time because this is really the only like knitting bag that I have, project bag. All the rest are generic tote bags. but I did add this little progress keeper to the zipper pull. You probably don't remember this. I made this a long time ago. I just got the charm and added it to a jump ring and a clasp. This is my little hobbit door, but I put it on the project bag because it's kind of heavy and I didn't want to actually stick it on any of my knitting. I was afraid it was going to pull the stitches because I didn't realize how heavy it was when I ordered it, because this was when everything was still closed, and so I ordered online and picked it up at Joann's or something. But the door opens. It's got a little magnetic. If I can get, my fingers don't want to work. So I can get it open. The only problem is that top hinge is broken, so it's going to stay closed. It's probably a locket or something. Oh, I forgot I still have my yarn sticking out of there. Now that the puppy's not on my lap, this is my project bag. A little shopping bag for Charlie's little just wall hanging, generic wall hanging. It's a garter stitch. And then this little progress keeper. It's a cat lady yarn progress keeper. And so I went from here all the way up to here. And that's it. Just nothing fancy, but I don't like doing this because it's acrylic yarn and it's not even a very nice acrylic yarn. Like, some acrylic yarns are better, but this one's just, I'm not a big fan of Red Heart. And that's all I have. I think from here on out, I am going to be vlogging anything yarn related, string related, fiber related, because I do plan on trying to spin eventually. So hopefully it won't be so much to pull out at once and I can compile it digitally. But that's all I have that is fiber related. So stay tuned. In hopefully a few days, I will have episode 19.2 up, which is going to be all book and story related. I got a lot of really cool stuff about that. I finished a book and I won Nano. That's all I'm gonna say. But I did a ton of reading too, so definitely a lot of information. That's another reason to split these up, so I can make them a little smaller. I haven't gone into a lot of the details about like what needle sizes and stitch counts and patterns. I'm gonna try to link what I can below, but if I don't, please just comment and I will be happy to share. If you like what I have, comment. If you like the difference, if you think it's a good idea, let me know. If you think it's a bad idea, let me know. Like and subscribe and ring the little bell. And I hope you get to make all the yarny things. And I'll see you next time. Bye. Tail was yellow. I didn't want to mess up the outside. What do you need? Too early. You hear a squirrel? There's a squirrel. Go check it out. What? Go check it out.